Welcome back. Today is International Women's Day, a day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women across the world. Earlier today, I spoke to the executive director of Equal Rights Advocates, one of the nation's leading legal nonprofits advocating for women and girls at work and school. Noreen Farrell shared more about the work they're doing this year.
It's definitely a celebration of global solidarity between women across so many countries that are really, looking for the same thing, right? An end to gender-based violence, childcare, equal pay, economic security, the right to your bodily autonomy. And so this is a day for us to think beyond our borders about gender justice. And really celebrate women around the world that are making the women's movement so strong. And we're also celebrating our incredible clients, immigrant women workers who left their countries to help build this one, and honoring the contributions of immigrant women here in this country as well.
Let's talk about President Biden's State of the Union, as I'm sure you watched yesterday. He brought up women and the power of a woman's vote in everything that's going on. Your thoughts on this? Can I get some insight on what you thought the president said, and what we can do moving forward as women tied to that?
Well, I think President Biden touched on the core issues that are alarming and activating women and people across genders across the country on core issues. And it's really clear that reproductive rights and justice will be a key piece of, the menu of issues that people will be voting on in the ballot in November 2024. We've seen what happens when you have a Congress that is so divided. We were unable to push forward legislation on pay, on anti-violence. There's stalemates on paid family leave. And so these elections are very important, as the president acknowledged. And I think it was important that he acknowledged the power of the women's vote. I think you will see that recognized and rallied like never before as we approach November 2024.
And for this next year through 2024, what work are you doing at Equal Rights Advocates, and what legislative pushes do you expect to see?
Well, we work both at the state and federal level. And while Congress is in stalemate on a lot of the key issues that we work on, we find that we're having a lot of success in states, strengthening equal pay laws, making sure that employers post salary ranges so you know how to negotiate your salary, making sure that there is an end to harassment in the workplace, education equities, so that we're making sure there's everyone has a safe and fair chance to thrive in schools. These are at the forefront of our legislative agenda, and also supporting working families, paid family leave, access to childcare. These are the common sense policies that usually get support, across the political aisles. And we're going to try to leverage that unity on core issues in the year ahead in the states and at the federal level.
And some would say we live in California, the Bay Area, we're doing well, but there's still work to be done here as well.
Absolutely. I think in some ways, California incubates very progressive reform, and then we can replicate it across the nation. But still, there are too many people living below the poverty line here in California. Economic insecurity and housing insecurity is a real issue for families across the state. And so it's a big state. It's the fifth largest economy in the world. And so I think it's really important that we push to do the best by our families and communities here and set an example for the rest of the nation at this moment.
Equal Pay Day coming up March 12th. Tell us about that and what you're going to be doing on that day.
Well, Equal Pay Day, unfortunately, is not a celebration. It's the times during the year we recognize the disparities in pay between men and women in the workplace. And so March 12th, we launch a series of Equal Pay Days, and throughout the year, we'll really emphasize how it's even worse for women of color, for Black women, for Native women, for Latina women. And we really, it's a call to action, just like International Women's Day today. It's a call to action to make sure that folks know what policies, both in the workplace and legislative policies, can close the gap, that we're calling for access to higher wage jobs, because we know occupational segregation of women into the lowest paid work is 30% of the pay gap numbers that you're going to be hearing. We today in 2024 are making on average just 84 cents on the dollar earned by men. If you count all workers, including part-time workers, that's 78%. But for women like Latinas, it's as low as 52 cents on the dollar. So a lot of work ahead. We're very mobilized. We understand the policies that are working at the state level, and now we're trying to push them at the federal level so that none of our rights depend on our zip code.
And Noreen, before you go, if anybody wants information on how to get involved or to maybe get some legal help or anything like that, where do they go?
Well, our website is www.equalrights.org. We have great materials for people to know their rights on the website. We also give people a place to sign into our community action team. We have community action teams in every state in the country that help you get connected to the solutions to inequities in your communities.
And again, that website is equalrights.org.